Welcome back to G2E. We're here on the floor with Bill Pascrell III, BP3, I hear people call you. And you are the partner at Princeton Affairs Group?
Princeton Public Affairs Group.
Princeton Public Affairs Group. Well, thank you for being here today.
It's great to be here.
So what are you doing here at G2E?
This is my 19th G2E. I do about 16 conferences a year globally. And it's either I have clients paying for me to go because they want me to speak on a topic, or I have clients here that want to see me that aren't, in person with me a lot. It's a good business networking opportunity. And I also, I did a panel yesterday, I did one today. Yesterday was on responsible gaming, which is a big issue.
Yep.
And gambling addiction and prevention. And today I'm doing one on poly-market sweepstakes and predictive markets, which is a big topic and certainly big in the sports world.
Yeah. What's your take on prediction markets?
Well, I think sweepstakes have mishandled their government affairs and their education and advocacy. I am very positive and optimistic about predictive markets. I'm a political person, lobbyist, strategic advisor, come from a political family. I think that regulators are not appreciating and understanding the power, quite candidly, of the President of the United States, whether you like him or not. His son, Donald Trump Jr., is fully engaged with Kalshi, Robinhood, Crypto.com, the dual currency organization. They're all going to be sorted because the federal government is regulating them with the CFTC. Mm-hmm. So I'm not super optimistic that any of these lawsuits are going to ultimately come in a successful overturn of predictive markets. And I think, as you've seen, and you certainly have, a lot of the tier one operators have already started to work behind the scenes with them in anticipation of them moving forward. Now, I understand, because I'm involved in horse racing and sports betting and a lot of it, that there's concern that, the predictive markets are going to take over, but it's an ebb and tide, it's an evolution.
Right.
Just like nobody believed I was going to be able to get online gaming done in the United States 15 years ago. We got that done. Yeah. Nobody thought it would happen. Now it's happening.
Yeah.
Hasn't grown as quickly as sports betting and online mobile sports betting. But I'm very optimistic about predictive markets, at least for the foreseeable future.
Okay. And what's your take on it? Because typically regulation has been obviously state by state for gaming, and now we're going federal with just this one type of gambling when they decide to call it gambling. How is that going to change, the tribal compacts that states like Oklahoma have? Are they going to be upset by that?
I love this because you're very good and you're knowledgeable and you know what you're talking about. Most people don't, particularly in the journalistic world. They're just scratching the surface. Yeah. So I'm a big proponent of states' rights. I had the 10-year campaign to repeal PASPA to bring sports betting outside of Nevada. I believe the states are the proper place to regulate gaming. The predictive markets don't think they're gaming. They're more, derivatives. I get that.
Yeah.
Kind of a cute way. I think the stock market, sports betting, derivatives, it's all one and the same. We call it something different. We tweak it a little bit. I would prefer that predictive markets be regulated by states. The states don't feel comfortable with it because of their own compacts, legislation, regulations.
Yeah.
They should adapt. I am not a big fan of banning anything. I think we need to find a way to legislate, regulate, tax, license. And I think there is valid considerations for those who are already in the sports betting market that the Kalshis and the Robinhoods are going to take stuff away, but the tier one operators are already working with them behind the scenes in preparation, so they'll adopt. I think the bigger issue, and I appreciate the opportunity to share this with your viewers, is the black market. Okay. We have to do a better job of telling our story in the regulated, licensed, taxed market. We create jobs, we create revenue, we're consumer protected, and we deal with responsible gaming. The black market doesn't.
No.
They pay no taxes, they don't create any jobs onshore, and they could give a hoot about consumer protection. That message hasn't gotten across. I think conferences like this are good, but it's an echo chamber. There's not a lot of politicians here that are trying to get educated. They should be, but they're not. Mm-hmm. So my job has been to try to educate politicians on the value proposition of what sports betting, online casino, lottery, horse racing does in a positive way. Yes, there are certain concerns that politicians have legitimately, but I think we can work through those.
Yeah. I think it's interesting because, regulators, I don't know that all of them really fully grasp that if you ban something, that doesn't mean the play stops. It just moves.
Exactly right.
So then, you're putting them in an even more precarious position, your players that you're trying to protect, because they're just going to go play somewhere else that has, no protection when it comes to any of that. Yeah.
I was in a bunch of meetings a few years ago, about 6 weeks before the California ballot referendum died. Mm-hmm. And FanDuel, DraftKings, MGM, they were all trying to get me to get involved in it, and I know it was going this way. Okay. $600 million, got 18% of the vote. It was a horrible, that's political malpractice. I've done ballot referendums before, and I knew they wanted to pay me a lot of money to get involved. I wouldn't have been able to get it over the goal line. I had to start 2 years before, but it would have ruined my reputation to take their money, put it in my pocket, and then...
Right.
But here's an interesting story. There's an organization here, Continent 8, which does data centers and servers in the gaming industry across the globe. They're the first movers in that. They're a great company. I was with all their C-suite folks. We're taking a Lyft or Uber from a hotel to a dinner. The Tesla Uber driver, Lyft driver, whatever, nice gentleman, 30-something-year-old, and he was like almost a little embarrassed that he was Uber driving, right, with guys in jackets. And we're like, you shouldn't be embarrassed. He goes, well, I work in the stock market, but the market's doing terrible, so I have to supplement my income. What do you guys do? We tell him what we do. Gaming industry. Mm-hmm. He didn't know about the ballot referendum. He said, why would I vote for it anyway? I already bet on sports online. Really? Bovado, Bodog, 5 times. And that's the problem with a lot of and I love the tier 1 operators. Most of them are my clients. They don't understand the importance of politics, lobbying, government affairs. It is immensely important. And we have a good message to tell. They seem almost afraid to tell their message. They're afraid they're going to make a mistake or somebody's going to catch them. I'm not afraid. I think we have a great message to sell. I'm trying to do it across the globe, from Australia to New Zealand to Singapore, throughout North America and South America, now starting to do some work in Cape Town and South Africa, and of course all of Europe. But we have work to do.
It's interesting. I feel like if anybody was, afraid to go to the lawmakers or to the government to actually advocate for gaming, I feel like now would be the most opportune time when you have the most responsible gambling, all of the different, they're all invested too in the responsible gaming.
That's
they did that Roga Pack like a year or two ago. So they have so much more to offer to be like, yeah, we're gambling, which historically maybe not the best rap, but now we have all of these other parameters and all of this education, and especially with iGaming, these parameters baked in, it should be pretty easy to sell, I would think.
So my dad was a 30-year member of the Congress, U.S. Congress. He passed away last August while he was still serving. Here's the problem. I'm a son of a politician. I've worked on many campaigns before I got into gaming. Most people in this conference, they have their opinions about politicians, right? Good, bad, indifferent. Yep. But they think that politicians know everything. They don't. It's our job to educate before we advocate. We got to tell them our story and then tell them why it's important, not to crack down on us, the licensed, regulated guys. We've got to crack down on the black market. Yeah. That's critical. And so, I feel like I have a tougher job lobbying the industry than lobbying politicians.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Oh, I could see that. That makes sense a lot. What's like your spicy take that you feel people need to hear at G2 this year?
I think America is, it's the epicenter. Everybody, like clients across the globe hire me to help them here. People are interested. I have more clients outside the country than inside. I think there's three critical things that this conference and the AGA can work on hard and furiously. One, and I understand what the president's doing. I'm a Democrat, I'm not a Trumper, but I respect the president, whoever it may be. His issue that delivered him the presidency was his position on affordability and his position on illegal immigrants. The problem is we need to do a better job explaining and lobbying to the administration how the crackdown on immigration has hurt our ability to bring folks in that we need here, developers, experts that are outside that can't get in. Because
immigration, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So immigration, one, I'm sorry, I'm carrying on. Two, we have to do a better job with responsible gaming, prevention and education and consumer protection. We're doing okay, but if we don't do a better job, then what's happened in a lot of Europe, in Australia, New Zealand, is a crackdown on the licensed market.
Yeah.
And the third piece is this industry contributes so much to the general economy. Billions of dollars, millions of jobs, and yet we don't get the respect in the hallways of Congress or in the hallways of state capitals that we should. I know that we should get that respect, but you can't keep doing the same thing and expecting a different outcome.
Yeah. Well said. That's fascinating. Well, this has been fascinating to talk to you, Bill. We could keep going for another hour.
I really appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, honestly.
Thank you.
Yes. Well, I hope you have a wonderful show. Love your kicks. We didn't get to cover that, but I hope you are very comfortable for the rest of the
You know what? I never did this before until about 18 months ago. My wife approved it. My dad would, God rest his soul, I love you, Dad. He would have never allowed me to wear like a jacket with sneakers.
It's a vibe.
It's cool, but what I like about it is I'm now shoe shopping like I've never done before. I have like 8 pairs of these. My favorite color is the polar blue. Love them.
So you're a sneakerhead now.
I'm a total sneaker geek.
You're going to be reselling before you know it.
My son used to sell sneakers when he was going to law school. And I was like, who buys these sneakers? Guys like you, Dad,
Yeah.
that buy them for their kids.
Totally.
Thanks for having me.
Yes. Thanks so much, Bill.